What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now. I'm Alex, and in this video, I want to talk about the Plucky Squire. I got a chance to play a little bit of this game yesterday, put in about 2 hours. I wanted to give an early impressions type video for you, but wanted to actually talk about that length of time because it's going to come back up. That's one interesting area, with this game is the length. And, while I'm playing it on PS Plus, you can buy this game. So, we're still kind of looking at this of, is it worth it, type scenario. So let me just say this. I actually really do love this game. I do. And not to sound like a broken record, there's been a couple games I've reviewed over the last couple weeks that I've Astrobot, Plucky Squire, Castlevania, the Dominus Collection. I've played some good games. I also played Funko Fusion, though, so it maybe balances itself out. I think this game is really good, and I couldn't help but notice that, in my head, when I'm playing through this, it gives me Unfinished Swan and What Remains of Edith Finch vibes. And I don't know if the developers, I haven't looked really into them or any of that kind of background. I saw a couple trailers for this game, but didn't look too close. So I really tried to come at this game from a complete outsider. The game is just so unique. The game just tries things and blends these different art styles and these different gameplay styles together that really does remind me of Giant Sparrow and kind of actually more specifically What Remains of Edith Finch, because, at times that's a walking sim, but at other times, in fact, most of the time, it is these 9 or 10 different stories that are all of these different gameplay mechanics and art changes. You have the Halloween section, you have the thing where you're a snake, all of this stuff, right? And it just changes on you. And that's really what the Plucky Squire gives off to me. It has amazing art direction. It looks beautiful. I love the page mechanics. I love being, turning the page and kind of going back in time to get a word and then use that to solve a puzzle later on. I think that's some just really clever stuff. I don't think you can say it's never been done before. I feel like I've done stuff like that before, but just the way the gameplay organically changes and evolves, I guess, while also the art style kind of matches it and also just randomly will throw you for, a loop, right? I think it's so cool. And, I want to spend the most time on that because, to be honest with you, that is the most impressive part to this game. It is beautiful 24/7, no matter which, art direction thing you're doing. I really love it. A lot of the mini games, the art direction will kind of switch. I don't even think I recorded it, but there's a time where you're almost battling like a Magic the Gathering type card. It's almost like a Pokemon battle. It just pulls things like that change up the core. And again, reminds me of a game like What Remains of Edith Finch. So I would say, in terms of, early impressions and should you get it, if you're into those kind of smaller indie, but kind of maybe they're pioneering almost this new genre of just throwing 30 gameplay styles together, this is a game I think you need to check out. Okay. The combat's pretty okay. It's pretty basic. There's nothing really to it. It's simple. It's not hard. I was thinking originally that the game was almost too easy, and I was trying to figure out, what's the demographic, but the game actually does get more challenging. Maybe not necessarily in terms of fighting. The fighting is pretty simple and pretty straightforward, but some of the puzzle solving, the mechanics that it teaches you continues to grow. And by the time you get, now, I guess that gets a little bit more into how long this game is, but for me, I'm starting to notice, okay, the game, it was easy at points, but actually now it's getting progressively harder. So I don't actually know, is it a kid's game? Is it not? I don't think it actually is. I think it's kind of for anybody, just like an Unfinished Swan is for anybody, or What Remains of Edith Finch, whatever it might be. The story, I think, is pretty cool. Some of the lingo is literally kind of like the cool kids at school where they say dope and things like I don't know, just the way the wizard talks or some, the Plucky Squire. Some of the wording, the jokes, some of the jokes actually did get me, but some of it, I don't know. I feel like I'm not sure what they're going for. Because sometimes it's very joking sometimes it's not. Sometimes it feels very much like they're trying to do a 15-year-old lingo type thing, and sometimes it feels like they're not. They kind of go back and forth. So I really can't get a read on it where I'm at, and it's not cringy or anything, but the story is interesting. I think if you can get by the individual conversations characters have, the literal arc of the story of, and I don't want to necessarily give it away, but it's meta. It's a meta type thing in terms of a storybook and in terms of what your plot is to defeat the evil wizard and all that stuff. You'll see, when you play it or watch somebody play or whatever. I think it's actually really clever. It breaks the fourth wall. it breaks the fourth wall like talking to us, but then it also breaks the fourth wall in their own game because it's literally a book and you can come out and go back in, right? So it's like, I really like that. Again, I think that's something that you don't see all that often. So like when they pull, kind of a trope like that, it's actually really, really cool, right? So that's another thing to kind of throw out. Now, in terms of the length, and this might be like the last thing I really want to talk about, the music is great, things like that are awesome. But in terms of the length, so I played for 2 hours, right? 2 hours. I got to chapter 5. So and there's 10 chapters in the game. The levels or chapters do get longer. Like chapter 4 was the longest one that I played, right? Of the 4 chapters. So I don't know, I saw people say that the game is like 8 to 10 hours. It's 8 hours if like you get the puzzles quickly, and it's 10 hours like if you don't get the puzzles quickly. I was stuck like twice for like 5-10 minutes. And beyond that, I wasn't rushing. Like, I was getting all the currency in the game. I'm trying to level up, all that jazz. Or level. I mean, you can buy things from, like, a merchant, so I guess that's what I mean. But, like, I was taking my time, but I was going forward, right? Like, I was accomplishing things. And, 4 chapters got me, 2 hours in. So, at that rate, I think it would take me, 5 hours? And I don't know, like, the game might get longer, so maybe it's not 5 hours. But I couldn't help but think, like, in terms of probably one of the only negatives I have is, okay, well, on PS Plus, this is fine. And so, again, like, for me, this is an easy get, right? I mean, I know it's busy. I know the gaming industry time that we're in right now is busy. People are maybe still playing Astrobot, and I get that. Astrobot is a Game of the Year contender. I platinumed it. But, when it comes to this game, I think it's a no-brainer. It's on PS Plus. It's something different. It's something that you don't really see all that often. I think it's absolutely worth it. It's just that buying part that I don't know if I'd be willing to say, like, oh, yeah, it's absolutely worth a purchase. I think these type of games need to be almost rewarded for doing it. So I believe in that to an extent where it's like, spread the word. Talk about how good of a game it is. If you believe it's good. If you don't believe it's good, that's fine. But, like, I believe it's good. I'm going to spread awareness. I'm playing it. I got it through PS Plus, though, right? So, like, does that make me a hypocrite? Like, what does that make me, right? But it's like, it is what it is. I wanted to test it out. I wasn't sure if I was going to buy it or play it through PS Plus, but I got it through PS Plus. And if the game takes me 5-6 hours and it's something that's different and something that's really, really cool, which right now that's exactly what it is, I call that good. Now, I hope that they're able to, like, find success in that, right? If most people get it through PS Plus and not through buying it, is that going to hurt them? You got to wonder that stuff. But yet again, maybe you don't care. Maybe you don't care. Maybe you don't wonder. That's not really our problem. So I definitely understand that mentality as well. So yeah, I would say get it if you have PS Plus. If you don't have PS Plus, I think you kind of have to weigh how you have to weigh like the uniqueness and like originality of it versus the length and price, right? Because like, is it worth the price for 5-6 hours, even though it is so original and unique and really, really cool? Like, is that worth it to you? That becomes more of like, you have to weigh that. But if you have PS Plus, for me, it's easy. Get the game, try the game out, put a couple hours and see if you like it. I think that you will. So let me know what you guys think in the comments. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel, bell icon turned on, and I hope to see you all on the next one.